Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Japan.
Thank you very much. I want to begin today by expressing my deep condolences to the entire Bush family on the passing of former First Lady Barbara Bush, a wonderful, wonderful person. For decades, Barbara was a titan in American life. Her presence and character were engraved into America's identity. Her strength and toughness really embodied the spirit of our country, and her warmth and devotion earned the admiration of an entire nation and indeed the entire world. She was a tireless champion for literacy. She was a fierce advocate for the American family, and she was a woman of proud patriotism and profound faith. Our hearts are saddened by her passing, but our spirits are lifted by the memories of her goodness and her grace. She was a good person. Melania and I send our prayers to Barbara's husband of 73 years. I'll never beat that record. President George H.W. Bush, to the surviving children, Jeb and Neil and Marvin, Dorothy, and former President George W. Bush, and to their many wonderful grandchildren and great-grandchildren. This evening, I also want to send a message to all of the brave service members from the United States, France, and the United Kingdom who were involved in the very successful strikes on targets associated with the Syrian chemical weapons program last week. Once again, the unmatched skill of the United States military and our great partners and allies was demonstrated to the entire world. Missiles were shot. They tried to knock them down. They weren't in the least successful. They hit none. The purpose of our strike was to establish a strong deterrent against the use of banned chemical weapons. Civilized nations must join together to prevent the horrors of chemical warfare and, in fact, warfare. And I think our allies really were absolutely world-class, wonderful. We thank them for their support. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by my good friend, Prime Minister Abe of Japan. Highly respected gentleman. Prime Minister Melania and I are honored to host you and Mrs. Abe once again at Mar-a-Lago. We're grateful for the tremendous hospitality you showed us during our visit to your country last fall. It was a true privilege to be welcomed to the magnificent land of Japan, or, as I've heard all my life, the land of the rising sun. It's true. So great. During our visit to Asia in November, we had tremendous success enlisting support for our campaign of maximum pressure on the North Korean regime. As you know, I will be meeting with Kim Jong-un in the coming weeks to discuss the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Hopefully, that meeting will be a great success, and we're looking forward to it. It would be a tremendous thing for North Korea and a tremendous thing for the world. So we will be doing everything possible to make it a worldwide success, not just for the United States or South Korea or North Korea or Japan, but for the entire world. We hope to see the day when the whole Korean Peninsula can live together in safety, prosperity, and peace. This is the destiny of the Korean people, who deserve and have gone through so much over the years. We hope it all works out. We'll be trying very hard. I want to thank the Prime Minister for his insight and support over the past year as we have pursued the dream of a peaceful, nuclear-free Korea. Shinzo, you have worked very hard along with us and all of our people, and we thank you very much. And we're with you. And you're a lot closer than we are, but we're working on this together. Okay? Thank you very much. Your support has been critical to getting us to this important moment in time. It's a historic moment, and possibly beyond that, if it works out properly. Our discussions today reaffirmed the close cooperation between the United States and Japan on the issue of North Korea and our common defense. We will not repeat the mistakes of previous administrations. Our campaign of maximum pressure will continue until North Korea denuclearizes. We have great respect for many aspects of what they're doing, but we have to get it together. We have to end nuclear weapons, ideally in all parts of the world. That would be a goal for all of us to hope for and to cherish. As I've said before, there is a bright path available to North Korea when it achieves denuclearization in a complete and verifiable and irreversible way. It will be a great day for them. It will be a great day for the world. During my visit to Japan last fall, I met with Japanese families who endured the terrible heartbreak of having their loved ones abducted by the North Korean regime. We want to see these families reunited as soon as possible. And I know for a fact that it's one of the truly most important things on Shinzo's mind. We talk about it often. It's so important to you. And we're going to do everything possible to have them brought back and bring them back to Japan. I gave you that promise. The United States also supports Japan's efforts to improve its defense capabilities, and we're exploring ways to expedite the sale of American military equipment to Japan through the Foreign Military Sales Program. We've stepped up our effort not only with respect to Japan but other allies, that when they order military equipment from us, we will get it taken care of and they will get their equipment rapidly. It would be, in some cases, years before orders would take place because of bureaucracy with Department of Defense, State Department. We are short-circuiting that. It's now going to be a matter of days. If they're our allies, we are going to help them get this very important, great military equipment. And nobody makes it like the United States. It's the best in the world by far. We're also working to improve our economic partnership by reducing our trade imbalance and removing barriers to U.S. exports. The United States is committed to free, fair, and reciprocal, very important word, trade. And we're committed to pursuing a bilateral trading relationship that benefits both of our great countries. Prime Minister Abe and I have agreed to intensify our trade and investment consultations. Ambassador Lighthizer, who is with us today, will take the lead for the United States. These past 2 days have been extremely productive. The friendship between Japan and the United States has never been closer. I truly believe it has never been closer than it is today. And the bonds between our people have never been stronger. In the months ahead, we will rely on this great friendship as we face an array of old challenges and new opportunities, and we will face them together. We will work closely on trade. We will do something having to do with the imbalance that frankly should have been done for years and years and years. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to thank you again for traveling to Mar-a-Lago for these important discussions and meetings. It's been a true honor to welcome you here and to work with you toward greater security, prosperity, and peace for our two truly great and wonderful nations. And thank you for being here, Shinzo. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Barbara Bush, the former First Lady, she has passed away. On representing the Japanese people, I would like to express my condolences to former President Bush and to all the family members. We express our heartfelt condolences. The infinitely blue sky, refreshing and soothing sea breeze. It was a great pleasure to be invited once again to this beautiful Mar-a-Lago and in a relaxed atmosphere to spend significant length of time with President Trump to engage in fruitful discussion in a frank and straightforward manner. About a year ago at this place, at the very moment I was at dinner with President Trump, North Korea dared to launch ballistic missiles. It is absolutely intolerable. Immediately after I had said so, President Trump stepped forward in front of the camera, though it was not planned, and made one following comment: "The U.S. is with our ally Japan 100%. The President sent out a message of powerful commitment to the world." Donald, your words on that occasion is still deeply etched in my mind, together with my wonderful memory of my stay here in Mar-a-Lago. With one single comment, you demonstrated the superbly strong Japan-US alliance, which has a history of longer than half a century, and I once again express my deepest respect for your remarkable leadership. A year or so has passed since then. The situation surrounding North Korea, due to the decisive decision by President Trump on the first ever U.S.-North Korea summit, is at a historical turning point. The past mistakes should never be repeated. On this point, President Trump and I were in full agreement. On the occasion of the 1994 Framework Agreement or the 2005 Six-Party Talks Agreement, North Korea committed to abandon nuclear weapons development, but those promises were broken. And the effort of the international community to engage in dialogue were all entirely exploited to buy time to develop nuclear weapons and missiles. Based on such lessons learned, both the US and Japan, together with the international community, will demand for all weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles, complete, verifiable, and irreversible dismantlement of weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles to North Korea. By envisioning multiple scenarios, we carefully thought out our policies and directions at a concrete and detailed level. Just because North Korea is responding to dialogue, there should be no reward. Maximum pressure should be maintained, and actual implementation of concrete actions towards denuclearization will be demanded. This firm policy has once again been completely shared between us. On this occasion, we also agreed to continue our effort towards the early resolution of the top priority matter of abduction. Just now, President Trump, on this spot here, has mentioned towards the return of the abductees, maximum effort will be made. The clear promise just made here. We are deeply encouraged, Donald. Half a year ago, when you visited our country, you listened intently to each and every family members of the abductees. You listened carefully and kindly said you would like to help. Your image on that occasion is indelibly etched in the eyes and minds of many of the Japanese people. Going forward, we wish to work closely with the United States, and towards the immediate return of all abductees, we are determined to strengthen our approach vis-à-vis North Korea. North Korea has diligent workforce and is blessed with resources. If North Korea advances in the right direction, they can make their populations richer. If North Korea takes the right path, under the Japan-North Korea-Pyongyang Declaration, there could be a possible path to settle the unfortunate past and to normalize diplomatic relationship. For that to happen, a comprehensive resolutions of multiple concerns, including abduction, nuclear, and missiles, would be the fundamental precondition. Through the upcoming historic U.S.-North Korea summit, we strongly hope for a breakthrough in this situation.
The Japan-US alliance is not just limited to the field of security, but it also contributes to the peace and prosperity of the world as well as the region. On the economic front, Japan and the US will take a lead and develop a free and fair market in the Indo-Pacific region. I spent some time with President Trump to discuss ways to make that happen in a candid manner. First of all, we must further strengthen the economic ties between the two countries. Under President Trump, exports from the U.S., including energy, aircraft, amongst others, have already been increasing significantly. Further, following the bold tax reform by President Trump, Japanese companies' investments in the U.S. have been gaining momentum, which is creating a large number of jobs in the U.S. and contributing to the expansion of the exports from the U.S. In order to benefit both Japan and the U.S., we'll further expand trade and investment between the two countries. Building upon that foundation, we'll aim to realize economic development in the free and open Indo-Pacific region based on fair rules. To make that happen, at this time, President Trump and I agreed to start talks for free, fair, and reciprocal trade deals. And Minister Motegi will be responsible for these talks on the side of Japan. Minister Motegi and U.S. Trade Representative Lighthizer, I hope we'll have a very fruitful discussions. Over the last 2 days, President Trump and I have spent more than 7 hours together over meals and playing golf, while at the same time we were able to hold extremely fulfilling talks in a relaxing atmosphere. The last 2 days were the time when I was able to further deepen my friendship and relationship of trust with President Trump. Lastly, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to Donald and First Lady Melania for their wonderful hospitality as well as the continued warm-hearted welcome of the people of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shinzo. Appreciate it.